Hey everybody, Resident Loser Jeremy here. This is kind of exciting. I always advocate for saving money wherever you can save money and doing things a little cheaper, and I think we hit the mother lode with this one. Take a look over here at Pro Tools. You'll see Billy Decker on my drum bus, and that is pretty much a mainstay for me. That stays there, it stays put, it does its job, it does it really, really well. I've come to love this plugin, but it's hard for me to recommend in certain situations because it is so expensive. If you could purchase just this one module, that would be one thing, but at least as it stands at the time of filming this video, you have to buy the entire Billy Decker bundle to get this plugin. And at least at the time of filming, it's $199. They are pretty cool if you were gonna get one bundle. It's a cool bundle to have. So I have to give a shout out to somebody, a subscriber on the channel, Gar. We had a video chat. He has a studio he's been setting up and just trying to optimize it to the best of his ability. And during one of our conversations, we talk about that plugin that I'm always using. He showed me something that he's using and he's like, you should really try this out. I didn't think too much of it. Then after a while, I see an email that he had purchased me a license for this plugin. I was like, dude, you did not have to do that, but I'm anxious to try it. So after taking a look at this Together Audio, the video makes it look awfully usable, and then when you go to click buy, there's a sliding scale, so you can pay as much as $100 for this plugin if you want. You can pay as little as 10. If you have some to give as much to them as you think is fair. That said, you can get this plugin for $10. So we're gonna look at it through the scope of a $10 plugin versus a $200 plugin, because you can't get that plugin without the bundle. It's not truly apples to apples, but if I'm purchasing the bundle to get that plugin, it kind of is. This is from a new song that I just put out with John from the YouTube channel Better Drummer. Go subscribe to him. You can check out the video up here. If you're interested, I go through every detail on this drum mix in that other video, so go check that out. So we're just looking at these two plugins, $200 versus $10. I think you can tell by my giggles where this is going. So let's take a listen to the sound that I had. That's a pretty predictable sound to me. Now, I have a mix 50-50 right up the middle, so if I put this on 100, you'll see how aggressive this thing can get. And then decorate knob and a compress knob, and decorate, there's some EQ applied, there's some saturation, it sounds like some things exciting, a little, maybe a scoop in the low mids, possibly. I normally keep this about 50-50, and it kind of acts as like a parallel compression alongside the rest of the drums. So let's take a look at rich drums, and this is after me playing with it for just a couple minutes. So right off the bat, that's pretty cool. But if we take a look at this plugin, you quickly find out how much there is here. I tried to really quickly recreate what Billy Decker Bus Glue was doing to that, but if you look at the preset list on this thing, it's kind of astonishing. There's so much here. Let me save this one so I can get back to it. So now when I pull this up, it's kind of like the Billy Decker Bus Glue ripoff that I created. So I'm just gonna siphon through some of these presets. Glitch effects? Come on. It is so interesting. So you can get a lo-fi punch. Mellow beat. retro drums. And you can see here what that basically did was work on the stereo image. The cool thing about this plugin is there's so much more here than what's on the other one. Not to say that Billy Decker does anything bad. I love that plugin. It's been the mainstay for a long time. I'll probably still continue to use it. However, if you are just getting started in a plugin collection, or you have a bunch of plugins, you're just looking for some new inspiration, this thing right here is pretty crazy. I can really quickly incorporate this into my template to have other sounds set up, like those lo-fi sounds. Just to have that on a fader that I could automate would make mixing so much faster without having to recreate an entire chain. Smooth tape. It seems so handy and so responsive. And they don't know I'm making this. This is not sponsored. They didn't send this to me. Nothing like that. I have no relationship with Together Audio. This was literally just a YouTube subscriber, Gar, sending me a license for this. He purchased it for me, probably knowing I wouldn't go purchase it for myself because I'm not the person to go collect a bunch of plugins when I already have something that works. This is exciting. This boost knob here. With a soft clip built into the thing, and it sounds pretty darn good. Normally you can see how something breaks up when you really push the input, so watch your ears here for a second. This is going to get loud. That breakup is actually pretty cool. Now, to go back to my rip-off one. Something super cool. There's a stereo image built right in. If I want to make this wider, now this is something you can really overuse and phase can really become an issue, but check this out. I can just make this drum sound as wide as I want. Or conversely, I can make it as tight as I want. And anywhere in between. That is so useful. Now you could definitely push it too far. You could start to do some weird stuff with your snare. And they thought of that because they put a check mono right into the plugin here. So I'm going to push it to what I think is too far, and then I'm going to check it in mono. I just switched in my mono button because I thought they were doing some trickery here, because I don't hear any difference when it's engaged or when it's not. It's not changing the mono translation of the drum. I'm kind of surprised by that fact alone, that it's getting all of the stereo width without sacrificing the mono image. I was listening to the snare relationship, the kick relationship, try to focus in on the cymbals and see what's happening here. That's kind of crazy that you can push the stereo image that far and you're not losing your mono. Oh, why would you care about translating to mono? Because a lot of music discovery engines, hearing things on your phone, when bands post things on Facebook, when you get kind of that low quality version of, hey, check out our new single, a lot of times that's mono coming through a phone speaker because you're not in a listening environment actively searching for new bands most of the time. So at least if you know certain things translate to mono, the mix isn't going to be too terribly different from what you intended in the first place. And the forethought of them to put a check mono built right into that is pretty cool. The other cool thing about this, everything, initially I was a little upset that there's not a mix knob built into the thing, but I realized everything is a mix knob. The adaptive dynamics have a mix built in, so you can change how the dynamics are working, and then each one of these, this cleanup, tape, and lo-fi, essentially a mix knob. How much lo-fi do you want? How much tape do you want? How much cleanup do you want? There's also a mid-side built in. So it says the boost knob is where all the magic happens. That's compression, saturation, warmth, and punch, all on a single knob. That sounds like Billy Decker bus glue to me. I appreciate that you can have an expert view if you want it, and you can keep it very simple if you don't. So cleanup, I'm curious, problematic frequencies. I would want to know what those problematic frequencies are. I wonder if it will tell us. Doesn't look like there's a manual for it. Unless I'm just not finding it, it does not look like there's a manual here. So nothing's coming up on their knowledge base either. Unless I'm just missing it, there's not a whole lot of information on what these kind of magical things behind the scenes are. Ultimately, I don't really care. $10. This seems like a no-brainer, and it's in just about every version of this plugin you could get. 64-bit VST, AU, audio unit plugin, and AAX. So you should be able to use this with any DAW. And I can attest to the fact that it is not very CPU hungry here. Really interesting. You can change the input, output. There's a lot of control to be had with something like this if you want it. And then I can control the amount of saturation that I get. That alone is crazy useful. And then I can just turn off expert and just keep it super, super simple. And just go through weird sounds. Just the options that you're getting here are kind of crazy for $10. Again, this sounds like I'm kind of pushing a sale of a plugin, but I am not sponsored. I get nothing if you go and purchase this. I just, after playing with it, had to make a video because something this affordable that's this useful doesn't come around a whole lot. So if you guys are looking for it, go to Together Audio, buy this plugin, tell them that I sent you. Anyway, guys, have fun mixing. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy. I'll see you in the next one.